Notting Hill Carnival happened over this weekend, and over several days there were 334 arrests for 5 stabbings, 3 firearms recovered, uh, dozens and dozens of drug charges from drugs on level A all the way to C. There was also an acid attack. Clearly, something needs to be done to resolve this issue, or is this just a minor amount of crime for the fact that there was around 1 million people there for the event? As you can see, people were having fun, but also people were, going a bit far. Possibly it was advertised on the first day as a family event, although people may say not very family orientated. Now, the police have said that they were on high presence. There was a lot of interaction with the crowds, and they were there to try and keep things safe and keep everyone else safe. Now, 3 people have been arrested for one of the stabbings of a 32-year-old woman. A 20-year-old man has been arrested on attempted murder, as well as 2 others for violent disorder. So the police are catching these individuals, but clearly severe stabbings where 2 of the people that were stabbed are in life-threatening conditions. You wouldn't expect any normal social event, family event over the weekend. Despite how many people were there, this clearly is a problem. Now I'm going to run through some of the offences with you, and then we'll have a look at how these compare to other events. Many people have said more crime happens at festivals, but possibly that isn't the case, and it all depends on the type of crime. I think we should all agree there's a difference between, some low-level, marijuana being passed around and someone carrying a gun. So, as you can see on the first day, 90 arrests made. There was the first or first couple of stabbings where the 32-year-old woman was stabbed and is still in a life-threatening condition. We've also got sexual assault, which is very serious. Clearly, I think everyone would realise, and also the offensive weapons, bladed weapons. There quite a considerable amount of them. I'm sure everyone would agree that's not good. People have been seen. There's photos which I won't bring up here where people are holding what look like a machete or a sword. So very very disturbing scenes. No one wants to be going to a family event, and that first day was advertised as such, holding with people holding these type of weapons. So was there enough police? It seems there was. There was hundreds of police were drafted in for this, but clearly they could not spot everything and could not stop every crime. But 90 arrests in one day, obviously there was a lot of other crime going on that probably didn't result in arrest. So this is a problem for everyone. Now, if we look at the 26th, when we see 230 arrests, this is massive compared to the 90 of the previous day, which everyone thought was quite bad. And that was one of the main days that was in the headlines and a lot of video came from. But 230 on the next day. And a lot of these, again, very serious sexual offences, injuries to emergency services workers, absolutely awful crimes. And obviously, more of the stabbings happened on these days. These are not just low-level crimes, although as you can see there is some drug offences, which, fair enough, but the offensive weapons has gone up slightly, which is another massive worry. Really, they had metal detectors, as you can see here, so there is, there was preventative measures taken to stop these type of things getting around and getting into the event, but clearly the police can only do so much. They can only put cordons up at certain areas around the streets and stuff, and no doubt everyone finds a way to get these materials in if they really want to. So, as you can see, a lot of arrests the second day. The police were there again, but this is significant. I think this is something that's going to have to be looked at for next year's carnival. As it's a continuing process. Each year we see more and more assaults on emergency service workers, police, and clearly that's not good enough. And obviously fights between individuals and the drug use, although low level on the main part, is still not good to be having around all age groups of people that are going there. Because let's face it, the majority of people great having a good time. They're there, it's a carnival, it's floats, everyone's singing and dancing, good crack. Now that's what we want, but this, maybe not so much. And now for the fun part, let's look at the graph comparing Notting Hill Carnival to the other, music festivals, which everyone tells me are more violent. Now, this is just, a sample of the different music festivals, not every one, so please bear that in mind. As you can see, Creamfields, 500 arrests, and this is in a 3-year period. The grey is the arrests, and the green is the, per 10,000, how many arrests per 10,000. So Creamfields, 500. The Notting Hill Carnival, 1,100, and Glastonbury 100 odd. So, very different numbers there. Now, this year Glastonbury had 30 arrests, Creamfields had over 80. Notting Hill Carnival, 334. Now, obviously, difference in numbers. Notting Hill Carnival, around 1 million people. Glastonbury, we're looking at around 200,000. Similar, well, sorry, about 80 to 100,000 for Creamfields. So there is a big difference in number factors there. But again, what I think we really need to look at is the types of crimes. Both Creamfields and Glastonbury, relatively all drugs charges apart from 1 or 2 assaults, where at the Notting Hill Carnival, it is predominantly violent crime. It is assaults on police officers. It is the knife crime issues. Obviously, there was dozens of drug charges as well, from Class A all the way to C. So very minor to very serious drug possession and dealing. But again, no one's getting stabbed, 5 stabbings. No one's getting caught with weapons, firearms. No one is getting caught with bladed weapons, like nearly 100 of those. So at Notting Hill Carnival. So there is a very big difference. Maybe if you leveled out the numbers and you'd say, oh, because of the people, it's still like 0.0% of the people that are there committing crime. And absolutely the vast majority of people at festivals, Notting Hill Carnival, absolutely brilliant, standout people, just want to go for a good crack and a good time. But, as you know, other people don't. And would you take your kids to a festival or a carnival if you knew there was a 0.1% or 1% chance that someone bumping into you could have a knife on them, you could get stabbed? Obviously, it's a worry. And just going forward, they're really going to have to look at the security, safety, and how they manage these situations at Notting Hill Carnival, other carnivals, other events up and down the country, as knife crime is becoming more and more of an issue. We're seeing in everyday life, stabbings nearly every day. This is something that needs to be taken far more seriously. And also just the carrying of weapons, probably a minimum sentence for that sort of thing. So we need more. Public need to be protected, the police need the resources, politicians need to pull the finger out, so we all feel safe when we're going to family events like this that should be a cracking day out, and was for the majority of people, but not for everyone, it seems, as people are fighting for their life because they went for a nice day out. And that should never be the case, should it, really?